It almost sounds counterintuitive, right? Drive somewhere to then ride the streetcar? Maybe some of you are thinking you can park way down south, then ride the streetcar to events downtown. So where do you park? The new last stop, this UMKC stop, is your best bet because of this parking garage. UMKC set aside about 160 parking spaces just for streetcar riders. A lot of them are in this garage. The university is charging $1.25 per hour. Right next to the plaza stop, there's this parking lot. It's got about 40 spots. Let me park this email I got from the city. It says there will eventually be pricing for this lot, but rates haven't been determined yet. Wait, what about parking on the plaza? I'm a really fast walker. It took me 3 minutes, 47 seconds to get to this parking garage, which is just across from Jack Stack and probably the closest to the plaza streetcar stop. You might think, I'll be real slick. I'll find an on-street parking spot in the residential neighborhood just off the streetcar line.
Neighbors are concerned about what that's going to look like.
That was Nadja Carpolo from the Old Hyde Park Historic District. She told me she's kind of in wait-and-see mode to find out how the streetcar line affects parking on her block. Kansas City says there are 40,000 parking spots in downtown, if you can scout them all out. Don't forget this hack. The lots near 7th and Main are free on the weekend, which is right next to the original streetcar line's North Loop stop.
I've always thought that my city, Kansas City, was a beautiful city. But in the last 10 years or so, it done stepped up a notch. And one of the reasons why it stepped up a notch is because of the streetcar that has been built downtown and in the River Market. Now, this week coming up, the streetcar expansion is taking place as it is going south towards the plaza in UMKC. And if you have not been by there and seen how beautiful Main Street looks now, you're missing out. But I'm pretty sure you have. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. This streetcar expansion is going to transform Kansas City and how we know it. With so many businesses being on Main Street, everybody is going to eat. Because right now, the streetcar is free. Not sure how long that's going to last. I feel like it's going to be so much traffic on that streetcar up and down Main Street. And the economic ripple effect from all the way from City Market to UMKC and the Plaza, that's 50 blocks, 50 plus blocks. Probably more than that if you count all the in-betweens or whatever. But yeah, that's a big part of the city that is going to see a lot of money coming up pretty soon. And World Cup is going to have a lot to do with it. And the traffic just from Kansas Cityans, of course, is going to have a lot to do with it. The construction with new apartments, there are, those are popping up every single block, every single week on Main Street and the surrounding neighborhoods or whatever. So plenty of money is going to be fed and bled into that streetcar up and down Main Street. Every stop becomes a potential hotspot. And it's the reason why billions are being poured into the city right now. Now, this public transit is going to be a part of redefining Kansas City's image. Not just cars, not just highways, not just parking lots. But it's just I'm a very visual person. So just the aesthetics of the streetcar to me makes Kansas City look like a world-class city. It looks like we have caught up with the times finally. It looks like a major league city. If you travel to any other city outside of KC, you'll see a lot of cities that have their own bus station, they have their own train, situation going on. And, the streetcar right now, it's a small part of a long, long, long foresight that the city has that could possibly, be in other parts of the city too. But to connect River Market to Westport and the Plaza and the Midtown in one ride, it connects the city. And it makes it easier for people who may be disabled, who can't drive cars, who can't afford cars maybe, don't want to pay for a car. Like, you don't have to have a car to live in Kansas City. And that was one of the negative things about this town, I think, that people had, was like, it was hard to get around. It's hard for disabled people to get around here. It's hard for poor people to get around here. Like, if you want something, you have to go out so far to go and get a lot of things because the accessibility just isn't there inside the city. Well, this just makes it a whole lot easier for people who have some of those setbacks um, to travel throughout the city. And so they can explore Kansas City. And so it can be a better city for them, along with catching up with the times with other cities. The future of Kansas City is good with this because the younger generations, college students and tourists, you know what I'm saying, they want cities to where the sidewalks are walkable, the transit is there to where they could get around and to where the city is connected. And of course they want a vibrant city. I watch people on YouTube when they come and visit Kansas City, and I kind of like take in some of their criticism. It's more like barbecue stuff, but when they eat the barbecue and they travel throughout the city, they'll make certain comments like how the sidewalks are or how the lights are, the traffic, whatever, all the basic things about a city or whatever. And you know, a lot of complaints about our city is or was the accessibility. That's why you see now more bike lanes inside the inner city. That's why you see more safety protocols and more safety measures being taken for pedestrians that are walking or riding bikes and that sort of thing inside the city. But for people who cannot afford cars and for people who are disabled, this expansion is life changing for them. It is. It's reliable, modern transit with easier access to jobs, food, education, healthcare, everything. So that's why I think that this will transform the city in a positive way. But will this be for all Kansas Cityans? Because we know how this thing goes sometimes. You know, you'll see certain rules for certain people in certain situations. I just look. I'm gonna stay positive about this, and I'm just going to encourage everybody to ride this streetcar extension as it's opening this week in Kansas City, and then there's already talk of a possible east side extension later on, near probably the 18th and Vine area. I wonder how that works. I wonder how they'll connect. What will be the route from 18th and Vine, that area, from the streetcar as it is right now? What I was thinking, y'all, originally, and this was like 4 or 5 years ago, and this was like just a wild vision of mine. Y'all tell me if I'm crazy or not, but the streetcar extension going on 39th Street, and you take that all the way to Arrowhead.
I beg your pardon?
I don't know. That's just me. Yeah, Arrowhead to downtown could be in one swoop on the streetcar. The only problem with that vision now and what I see is there's really not a lot of businesses along that route of 39th Street, and you go into Leeds and all that stuff. So you with the streetcar extension, you want to go where the areas are populated, where you can attract people to more businesses. You don't want to, take people to, where Leeds is. Yeah, if you've been around that area in Leeds traffic way, yeah, not the prettiest part of the city. Although if you go by there right now, they're trying to get that straightened up for World Cup. Mayor Lucas, I see what you're doing.